Give thyself time to learn something new and good, and cease to be whirled around. Marcus Aurelius. Welcome to another Rare Leader Conversation with myself, Tony Jalen, and
Danielle Jalen.
the wonderful one. Today, we're going to go ahead and go into Stoicism a little bit. If you've ever heard people like Ryan Holiday and such, they talk a lot about Stoicism and how the ancient times, ancient Romans and the Greeks would use Stoicism as the way to govern their life. And today we're going to talk about structure. You know, there's a quote that said, with structure, it provides safety, it provides peace of mind. So in today's conversation, we're going to define what structure is and how structure can go ahead and lead to a more fulfilling life. So let's first off start with the first question right away, Danielle. When we think about the word structure, the importance of structure, why is structure important?
Well, I think it gives a foundation of where to begin and being able to have a roadmap of sense to follow. I think structure too, like you have, as it talks about stability and security and knowing what that what's going to happen when you have certain outlines of like how your day will look like or different activities that you want to partake in or goals that you have set. Like if you have structure, you're able to work within things that you can control.
Yeah. I think when I think about structure and to add to that, a lot of times when I don't have structure, I feel like I'm just chasing the rabbits. You know, and they say if you chase two rabbits, you'll catch none of them. And I like just yesterday, you know, part of my weekly routine is to have a weekly reflection planning time. And I'll usually come to my office like, all right, you know, I'll usually get a workout in prior or something to get my mind in the right space. And then I'll write down, okay, looking at my week, I'll reflect on my week. Okay, what went well last week? And what are my most important priorities for this week? And then I have a to-do list for the day. And I try making sure that it's not more than 6 items. And then I put a time on how much each activity will take. And I'll literally put a timer in front of me. And I find by having a structure going into my week, it's a lot more productive. But I think also, you know, I think it's easy to mistake structure to only apply it to the workplace. How does structure help the home place, the home front?
Well, I think for us, we need structure in what activities. Like I know there's certain times that you're not available, but to be able to have that security, independence, and knowing when we can do things as a family, what's important for us to be together, what are activities that can be done with just you or just me. And I think a lot of the times, if we don't have structure within the house, it can feel a little chaotic and you're running, 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 running instead of, like you said, chasing a rabbit because you have no idea what's coming next. And so I think when you have a basic structure of what it looks like for us on a calendar, being able to adapt and look at where other things can fit in for us better.
But I think some people would argue, oh my gosh, you can put structure into my household? Like, I don't know about that. Believe me, we've been on both sides of the
Mhm.
coin, everyone. We've had structure and we've not had structure. And I think too, it goes back to that quote I said at the beginning of our call is structure provides safety. I think with structure you have better communication. I think there's less arguments, less um, misunderstanding of the structure because it also lays out expectations, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, and I think one of the things that I learned where it was really helpful was when Ezekiel was little. And sometimes I think it would drive me nuts that he'd be like, what are we doing tomorrow? And then what? And then what? And then what? And then what? And we'd have to like list out the whole entire day of what we were going to be doing. But at the same time, it helped him not live in that chaotic space or wondering what's happening next. It gave him that security that we all look for. It just came from a different perspective. And so I think by implementing different structure at a younger age, it helped him now as he's looking at, here's what I have to do this weekend, and he's able to structure out his week to make him productive and to be successful going forward, where I don't have to be a part of that now. Like he already has a system that he uses that helps him be in that space.
Yeah, I think to your the point just now, the house with a young child is also I see a lot in the workplace. I've interviewed thousands of people, and when I ask them the question, what would you say is some weak points of your previous work cultures? And they would say lack of accountability and lack of structure. Then it's true. Like things, everything is figure outable. But if you can provide some type of structure, at least you have a starting point for it. So I think when you really intentionally apply structure to one's life, I think you also don't get as overwhelmed as easily. Would you agree on that?
Yeah, because I think you already know what the expectation is that you've set for yourself. And so if you're not working to that expectation, you know where you can fix it. And so it leaves you in a space of being able to not feel overwhelmed because you already know what you were expecting for yourself to be able to do.
Right. And I think too, it's that structure can give you purpose too. Because I think it's easily without structure, it's when we lose our purpose because we don't have a focus of where we need to go, um, where we need to put our energies. Don't you think too as well?
Yeah, because I think the feelings of being overwhelmed come from not having structure and not having an intention for what your purpose for the day may be or for the week or for the month. And that's where you can start to feel overwhelmed, and it also gives you a starting point, like, where you can make adjustments. Um, if it's falling apart in some point, like, you can see in the structure where it's not stable and where it can be worked on a little bit more.
Well, and two is that I mean, not only are things going to feel a lot less chaotic and unpredictable. I think by having knowing what to expect and having a sense of order can actually reduce stress and anxiety. And I think we all want to feel this. We want to feel in control of our lives. And when things are getting out of its control, that's when we're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Oh my gosh, the world's falling apart. It probably isn't falling apart. We're probably making it fall apart because we don't have structure. So we definitely have covered on, what is structure, why have structure. What are some things that you've learned to do to create more structure in your life?
I think by having a daily plan has helped to eliminate the what am I gonna do and the chaos for us, especially for me, like knowing your schedule, and this is just your weekly schedule is this, and so it allows me to like look at a bigger picture for us and like how do we work these different things in, and knowing that like we're doing a college tour, like knowing that I can't just schedule it the next day, that we have a sense of what each other's schedules look like, that's something that has to be booked out a couple to 3 weeks in advance. It can't just be like, boom, because we've already established, for ourselves, like, what does we like to plan out, not have everything just last minute.
Right. So I think the number one thing you said to go ahead as an actionable step to create more structure is to create a schedule and then write out your tasks and activities, and we can then like allocate specific time slots for it. I think the second way to go ahead and create more structure is set goals. um, like identifying what you want to achieve and break your goals down to smaller, more manageable tasks. I think that's number two. And here's the third one, and I'd be curious your thoughts on this, Daniil. Declutter, because clutter, in my opinion, creates a sense of chaos and disorganization in our life. Like there's a certain point where I'll let clutter build up my desk, and I'm like, okay, I gotta clean this up. And isn't it crazy? We'll spend more time thinking about the clean clutter than it actually took to declutter. Thought.
Yeah, I think sometimes, I mean, it's an overwhelming task in itself just because I think it brings to realization, like, where we've let things slide. And so then now, how do we go back to organizing that into something that's manageable? And yeah, to like declutter isn't always the most fun activities to do, but at the end of the day, it's like almost emptying out part of your brain and freeing up space to be more agile and like have that control back.
Yeah, it's sort of like when you clean out your car and then you go get a car wash, and like the car is like, I swear, it says thank you for cleaning me because it just sounds different. It feels different. Well, I mean, I think everyone watching this can relate to that, right? When you wash your car and clean it, it just feels better. And I think too about like when you declutter, you're creating a more positive energy in life. You're letting all of the positive energy flow through your life versus being stopped by that, tie you've had on your door for 50 years. Not saying that I have a tie that's been on my back of my door for a long time or not, but just saying. Three ways to go and declutter your life. Number one, create a schedule. Write it down. And this will help you stay focused and reduce the feeling of overwhelm. Number two, set goals, right? Identify what you want to achieve and then break them down into smaller, more manageable tasks. And then create a plan for that. And third, declutter. Take time to declutter your home, your workspace, and then even like you said, Danielle, create a manageable system for ongoing organization of your belongings. Here's what I believe. By taking these three simple action steps, you create more structure in your life and you feel more in control. But I think there's a key point to remember with creating structure. It takes time and effort, doesn't it?
Mhm.
It's got to be a choice that you're willing to make. I used to be one of those people that always say, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. Being busy doesn't mean you're productive. And structure, aka systems, is actually the secret to success. That's it. Structures and systems allow you to scale your life. And if you ever need any assistance with that, please feel free to reach out to you. We do have things that we've learned, tools that we have to go ahead and help bring more structure and systems to your life. I mean, believe me, we're not there yet. We haven't arrived on the Holy Grail yet, but we're definitely in the process of getting better. So, Danielle, final thoughts as it comes to structure.
Well, I think sometimes if you feel like structure just leaves you feeling like you're rigid, um, and that you're not living, I think that it actually frees up the space for you to be alive and to not be constantly worrying. If you have structure, you're able to live more freely and go after the things that you really want.
Well said. Clarity brings confidence. So, well, thank you all for joining. Again, feel free to add your comments, share this. Again, this is on Twitter, on YouTube, as well as the Rare Leader Facebook private group. If you want to be a part of it, feel free to go ahead and ask for an invite. Otherwise, remember to be a Rare Leader, resourceful, adaptable, resilient, and willing to engage with others. Go ahead and rise up. I'm Tony Jalen, joined by the amazing.
Danielle Jalen.
Until next week, onward and upwards.